Hello, welcome back to another YouTube video with the Transfer Portal CFB presented by NoContextCFB. We are very excited to have a former USC defensive lineman on with us today. Now he's making waves in the social media wave and everything and doing great content creation. We've got Trevor Trout on with us to talk about the trenches. What's going on, Trevor? How are you?
Hey, Liam, thanks for having me on, man. Football's around the corner. I go watch some really good pass rushers. SEC football's back. Big Ten trench plays back. I know you love that shit. I know.
And we're super excited.
Yeah.
And we've also got Andrewster on with us, who is a master of the trenches out in the Big Ten.
Ooh,
it's all about the trenches.
It's all
I love those trenches.
Let's get into it, dude. I know the questions you want to ask, Liam. Go ahead and get right to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first thing that we've got to ask you, Trevor, is what's more important, an elite pass rush or an elite pass defense in your secondary?
An elite pass rush, because, I mean, if you have an elite pass rush, you really don't need to have a super elite secondary. I mean, if I can get the quarterback on the ground in 2.7 seconds, how long I really got to cover?
For sure, what?
Think about it. Like, if I only need 2.6 to 2.7 seconds to get the quarterback on his ass, like, how long does the corner really have to cover? Like, the safety's already in the back anyway, so he's eyeing everything. If Nick Bosa beats him and gets the quarterback on the ground, the ball is dead. It's a pass rush all day long. Third down percent. If you notice in the NFL, it's about third down percentage and who gets on and off the field. There's a reason for that, though.
No, definitely. What about you, Andrewster?
I'd have to agree. I would rather get to the source of the pass and the quarterback rather than defending the possible receivers. Because if you have a quarterback that's able to stand upright, you have the ability to throw where just the receiver can make the play. Whereas if you get to the quarterback, kind of sucks for him.
Yeah, I mean, like, people get, like, you can take all the numbers say the NFL games are won by third down percent. Like, at the same time, we talk about having an elite pass rusher and elite secondary. Let's say you don't have an elite pass rusher. We have a good group that knows how to pass rush. Like, you can be better up front. Like, we've seen years where the best team in college football didn't have these great secondaries. They were amazing up front. Like, amazing up front. Like, even those years when Ohio State, when they had the dominant silver bullet unit, the best unit on the field was always up front. Like, those teams that won, like, they won where you need to be good at, which is right there. You're not good there, you're not going
to. And we saw what Georgia was able to do in the trenches last year. That helped propel them to one of the best defense.
Yeah, bro. Like Jamari Slayer, Cedric Van Pran, like all those dudes they had. Oh my God, they were just better. They were bigger, better, stronger. Like, those are the teams that win college football.
They're nuts on both sides of the ball in the trenches. I do got to ask, should Will Anderson have won the Heisman last year? Do you think he'll actually do it this year?
I think Will Anderson. I'm gonna say, yeah, Will Anderson should have won the Heisman last year. He was the most productive pass rusher in college football. And, I mean, it's tricky because I'm not going to do the whole team because that's not what it's about. No one really cares about that. Like, it's about, okay, like, what I value. Like, obviously, yeah, offensive player is going to get it. But Will Anderson, we're talking about, okay, who's the best player in college football last year? Like, I feel like it was for sure Will Anderson. Now, it's dope, though, that, like, it's kind of weird because, like, at the same time, you could say there was a bunch of dudes in Alabama, like at least three dudes that could have said they should have won the Heisman last year. You be 100% honest. We all know the Heisman's a PR game. You have to have a PR campaign really to win the Heisman. And on top of that, they have to want you to win the Heisman. It's not always really about the best player. The best player doesn't always win the Heisman. It's about, okay, who had the story, who had the moment. Bryce is the quarterback. He starts for Alabama. He had the moment. He had a couple Heisman moments. You give it to him. Who was the best player in college football? Will Anderson last year.
Without a doubt. Andrewster, I think I know your answer for that as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Will Anderson was definitely the best player in the country last year. We talk about a Heisman race that didn't have an answer until championship weekend. Going into the SEC championship, Bryce Young hadn't won it yet. His Heisman moment was beating Georgia, the defense that we talked up all year long.
People came off COVID and nobody knew like who was who and what was what. And it was super weird. Like, cause people were still figuring out, okay, I gotta find out how to watch college football again, who's good and who's not good. But like last year, like, cause really, like you're right, no one knew who they wanted to give Heisman's to, because all the players they wanted to give Heisman's to didn't end up playing that well. So like it was tricky going through the year. It was like, okay, people were like, oh damn, we gotta go watch some of these other teams that we weren't intending to be good. We gotta watch them play now. That's all that was.
And at the end of the day, we still knew what the majority of voters wanted to do, and that's vote for the quarterback that had the Alabama helmet on.
Yeah, bro. Like you swing SEC, you roll Alabama. Like it's the easiest thing to do. Like because if he wins Heisman, like win the Heisman this year, when they win the national championship, or if they do win the national championship next year, everyone looks like they're right. We went for Bryce, who might go top 5 in the draft next year. Yeah, at the end of the day, Will Anderson was the best player in college football. Period.
Without a doubt, he was, and he's going to be one of those guys off the edge that, you know, you'll see him as that number 1, maybe number 2 pick next year in 2023. But how about some defensive linemen that are on your radar going into this 2022 season, Trevor?
Felix Anudike is on my radar. Like I just want to talk about some of those ends. Like they got some really good young ends at Kansas State right now, and a lot of them play because it's like they play a lot of different spots. Felix is long. He's athletic. He could play a tight 5. He could play a loose 7. He could play inside and out. So he brings NFL versatility. We're talking about dudes who like potentially I think can be like a leaper this year in terms of like NFL draft stock. It's for sure Felix because like he has that body. I don't know how he's going to test in terms of him and like how good he was last year. Plus on top of that, you got teams that are like exiting the conference too very soon. Like I see him being productive. If he doesn't come out next year, the year after, he for sure can be productive because he's just more athletic than the tackles he's playing against. And like, I just think like prospect wise, there's just too much there. You know what I'm saying? That's a catch you watch. Obviously, you know, like Brian Breeze will come back, he's gonna be healthy. No one in the ACC is fucking with Brian Breeze. Like when Brian Breeze is healthy, it's just he's better than guys. And his teammates say he's playing with also better. So like he's gonna get a lot of one-on-ones. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought up Felix because he is just an absolute freak. And it was really tough for me to choose between him and Andre Carter for Army for my number 5 edge rusher in the country. That was a super tough decision.
That's crazy because Carter's pretty damn good too. So my best friend Jacoby plays with Carter at Army, and he's like, yo, he's like, yeah, Andre's not, like I think Andre's a pro. It's just tricky because like he's not gonna win that measurables game. And all his other people in his class, if he gets an opportunity, like they're gonna beat him probably in the measurables game. But I think he could be an NFL player, like for sure, no question. He's a good NFL player.
For sure. What about you, Andrew?
I know Trevor brought up Breezy. I want to stay in the ACC for a second and talk about 2 guys on Pitt. Habakkuk Baldonado and Kalijah Kancey. Kalijah Kancey is a little bit of a smaller guy, but my gosh, his toolbox is insane. He's dominant. He's strong. He's quick. He's able to control his body. I love the potential Kancey has at Pitt. I liked him going into last year. I love him going into this year. And then Baldonado is a guy that a lot of draft experts are talking about as a sleeper, but then there's also people saying, oh, he's a top 20 pick. He is 6'5", 255, I believe. And I'm going to call him the Italian stallion. He is a freak of nature. He's super athletic. And when we talk about multi-sport athletes, usually that's a term for high school guys coming out. They play basketball, maybe baseball. In Italy, Habakkuk was an MMA fighter and a swimmer. That's not really a combination you hear too much. You know what that means? He's never getting tired. He's never getting tired. He's a 4-quarter player, 4-down player. I love his potential this year for Pitt.
One thing Pitt does very well, and I'll say this because Houston does the same thing too, is that they find these long-ass, rangy ends who like don't have any shoulders yet, and they make them 240, 250, and then they're just productive as fuck. And they coach the hell out of their dudes, like whether they're pros or not. They have a certain type of mold for the guys they recruit. Those two dudes, those are good names.
Yeah,
Those are good ass names right there.
the Italian stallion, as Andrewster calls them, could be one of the best nicknames in the sport. And thinking about an MMA fighter rushing the passer is frightening.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
about
it's productive. You know, one thing you're gonna face, he's got a motor. I mean, shit. He's not
definitely
gonna get tired.
with the MMA fighting and swimming, like those are two sports that you cannot you need so much stamina and endurance for. So
The
that's
thing
gonna
is,
go.
like, where do you find those type of kids at? Like that's like when we were talking like recruiting. Like I call that shit recruiting. You don't just find. You really got to go look for that shit and really go find. Okay, what does he do? Hey, why do I need to sign this kid? You know,
Yeah.
oh, I did MMA. It's like, oh, toughness. Oh, market sign check. Boom. Welcome to Pitt. That's recruiting. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Not throwing a bag of money at a kid that's got 5 stars and you already know it's probably gonna pop off.
That's recruiting too. I'm just saying, every
Yeah,
school
but
can
Different
get those
techniques.
kids. Well,
way
like,
different
there,
techniques.
there's nothing wrong with
There's
throwing out the
nothing
bag.
wrong with it. Every kid
Yeah,
deserves
but
to get the bag straight up.
every kid deserves to get the bag. I'm just saying
Mhm.
though, for those kids, it's like, damn, I can't get that kid. You got to really go out and do some recruiting. These are the type of kids you end up getting.
How about a defensive lineman that you expect to pop off and rise up draft boards for his 2023 draft?
Again, man, like Felix, like obviously like another one though, who like I thought really would have had a chance this year. He's an undersized defensive tackle, but I think he could be in that Quincy Roche level Miami mode in the NFL where he can play multiple spots. He's athletic enough. Kobe Wooten at Auburn. I like him. That's a physical player. He gets his hands on dudes and things. He's so much shorter than everybody. He gets high level leverage. That's a kid I like right there. Really active with his hands. You know, Gardner's one of the best line coaches in the country. So I mean, that's a guy who like I want to see really put it all together this year because I know he can.
That's definitely someone to invest in then, because I have not heard many people talk him up. How about you, Andrewster?
Kind of ironic. We talked about him earlier. I love Andre Carter, the second from Army. He is 6'7", 260, but he bends like he's 6 foot. It should not work the way it does, but it does. He's athletic. He puts up absurd numbers for Army. And I'm convinced if he wasn't playing for a service academy, we're talking about this guy as one of the top edge prospects in the class.
No, like real talk, yes. Because the thing is, like, it's not like the edge class that crazy. It was really not. To me, I don't think it is. So, like, I think everyone really has a chance this year across the country. Because even when you look at, like, some of the preseason all-conference teams, it's not like there's any clear, like, outside of like Jalen Carter that's, like, clear, top 10 pick. And even when you say that, because every year, like, someone says, oh, this defensive line is going top 10. You're seeing a trend now every year where interior defensive tackles are going lower and lower. And they just like the value's not there anymore. I don't think they think the kids are nearly as good as they used to be. I'm not very sure. That's what I'm thinking though, because like you look at a dude like last year and the year before that, you look at Barrymore or whatever, like people thought Barrymore was gonna go way higher. Barrymore was pretty productive. It's just like it's a different space in the tackle spot right now.
And with Andre Carter, again, Andrews, you speak to if he didn't play at Service Academy, like he is that first round pick. I truly believe that too. And it's just wild to think as well. Like you gotta realize these people gotta realize how special you have to be to play at Army or play at an academy and be considered a potential first round pick. Like that's just different. That's so unique. It doesn't happen. Carter is a tremendous talent. I can't wait to see him destroy quarterbacks this year and beyond. But let's talk about a guy who did that in the SEC, Dallas Turner. how good do you think he is? Like when we're talking about the best edge rushers in the sport, Dallas Turner is the best edge rusher.
Dallas Turner is one of those cats where it's like, I'm not putting him on the field to, like, I think he's good. He's more than athletic enough to go cover people man to man if asked. But like to be out, oh, you're here to fit the run. No, I simply want him rushing the entire game. Like that's legit what he's here to do. Is to rush the pass. Anything that involves him not rushing the passer, wasting my time. Now, obviously, this is football. So there's things we're gonna be asked to do because certain type of schemes and shit. Like I get all that, but Dallas Turner, he's here to get the court. Like this is the way he's on the field. Like you watch him roll off his inside foot, especially be that young and have the technique down the way he has it. It's different because no one has natural feel like that. Like he really gets it. You can tell he understands the game. How he plays, especially for him to be that young, because that means there's so much more there. His body's going to feel out more. He's going to become tougher to block the older he gets. So, because obviously the mold is like he's that stand-up pass rush outside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go bracket a tight end if you ask me to, but that's not why I'm here. Kind of like Von Miller. That's kind of the frame. You want the Bud Duprees, whatever of the world. That's what your intention is when you're mounting a young pass rusher like Dallas Turner.
And just again, what he was able to do at that age in the SEC against grown men is absurd to think about. His trajectory is just to think of what he's going to be when he leaves Alabama and enters the NFL draft is crazy. What about you, Andrew, sir?
I mean, you guys have pretty much all said it yourselves. Amazing first year, like phenomenal first year. He's shown everything as a pass rusher. Now, could you want a little bit more run? Yeah, that's where you would maybe talk about a guy like Miles Murphy from Clemson. But I mean, think about this. He's still got 2 years at Alabama to develop, and then he'll have whatever amount of time in the NFL, however long his career is. Hopefully it's as long as it can be. He still has more time to develop. His age is his biggest asset right now. He's an amazing pass rusher, but he's got time on his side. That's something you can't say about a ton of guys right now.
I don't care if he ever becomes a great wrestler, like at all. I don't care. Like, because it's like very likely that the NFL team that's drafting him is not going to care. And that's just really where the stuff is going.
Yeah.
Because the NFL looks at it now, they're like, look, we go 4 down, and we got obviously like 2 pretty good defensive tackles, and our linebackers are athletic enough. Like you stopping the run, like the players behind you are good enough to do that. Like obviously, yes, like you want a player that can play every single down. Now, though, from what it's looking like, with especially with a lot of these younger pass rushers that are coming out, everybody can't play the run. So what are you gonna do? Not draft him? No. Everyone can't play a box and spill. That's not where the game is at anymore. It's just not. Like obviously in the NFL, are you going to need it? Yes, but at some point, like people are going to come to terms with the fact everyone's not going to be able to do this. Like Dallas Turner, if you want to end up becoming a better, you want to make him become a better run defender. This is why I will tell you, no team in the NFL takes a kid top 10 because he can stop the run. Nobody.
100%. And
no one says, "Oh, the NFL. We don't get off the field in the NFL because of third down run percentage." No, it's because we need to get the quarterback on the ground and it's 3rd and 7.
Someone with that just blink of an eye speed off the edge with that blend of power and just ferociousness for us. It's crazy that it's his age. In the SEC, he's already like a top 3 edge rusher in college football, in our opinion. I don't know if you share that same opinion, but he's just different. And
Andrew's let these things happen first. Hold on, like let them put together like 2 consecutive bodies of work first. Let them put together 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
And when you say like someone's the best like pass rush, like or top 3, well, that means like there's a consistent body of work here. Let the body of work be put down first. But he can for sure have a chance to be. He can be honestly the best. He could well end up being the best next year. Because I'm saying like him and Will are both hunting. They're just battling for production because they're both really good. So,
And Andrewster spoke a bit about Miles Murphy a few minutes ago. What should college football fans expect from Murphy and Brian Brzee at Clemson?
it's okay. Well, here's the thing I'll say about Colin. Colin is a highly touted edge rusher coming out of high school. Perfect fit, perfect Clemson mold. Like, he stayed in the system. He's paid his dues. He's played since he was a freshman and played very early. Like, I think, body coming together. Like, I think he can put on a good year. I think he could be pretty good this year for Clemson. Older now, I do want to see him be more dominant for sure. Not because I don't think he's good enough, it's because I just know that there's another level that he can tap into. So.
Definitely. What about you, Andrewster?
Yeah, I would agree with Trevor. I love Brzee. I think you would probably put him top 2 or 3 defensive tackles in the country. Clemson's going to have arguably the best defensive line in the country. You can, outside of Alabama, depending on what they get on the inside, which should be still very good. We shouldn't ignore the Alabama inside just because they're 2 talented edge rushers. But at Clemson, they're going to have an amazing defense. You can call it one of the best in the country. Defensive line is going to be one of the biggest reasons why.
They're going to be one of the better units in the ACC. Like, I think let's let them play first before we say they're going to be the best D-line unit in the country. Let's let them put some games on real quick, because you understand too. Like, trust me, I get it, because they're going to be playing a lot of teams in the ACC. They're going to beat up a lot of teams in the ACC. They should beat up a lot of teams in the ACC. And when we say that a unit is one of the best pass rushing units in the country, that's a big statement. That's a big statement, man.
Yeah.
That means this year you're expecting them to be one of the best in the country. Like, top. So you're saying like top 3 pass rushing unit in the country?
I would say those 2 guys out of tandems in the country, they're
Okay.
definitely
out of tandems in the country. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, Brzee, when he gets to the quarterback and when he's finishing off a sack, just that explosiveness and at the last second and the reach to bring a quarterback down is truly remarkable. Now, Trevor, you obviously went to SC, so we've got to ask one guy at USC that you think will crush it in 2022 and beyond.
Honestly, I think he's going to really crush it this year. Man, like, are we talking like, on like off the radar type of player? Or?
It could be anyone. It could be off the radar. It could be a highly rated recruit. It's your call.
I think Romello from Auburn has a chance to be pretty good up front for New England. I hear he's been showcasing some good things. Great athlete, really fits what we do with the Pac-12. Like, pretty good pass rusher too. Very physical. Has experience playing against really athletic and really strong tackles coming from the schools he was at. And, like, now he's going to have a real chance to play and put it on tape. So that's a guy I would watch. Obviously, Jordan Addison would have bullet to call. Caleb Williams is still putting things together. He's 2 years away. Like, clearly, yeah, these are the guys that you want to watch for sure.
Yeah, so much good talent through the portal to SC. You hate to see that as a UCLA fan.
You love to see it, man.
Do you, though?
People want to roll with the winners. Game is the game. Fight on, USC.
Yeah, we're going to get destroyed by y'all this year. It won't be very fun. What about you, Andrewster?
Enjoy the passing trip.
I'm interested to see how Eric Gentry does for USC. He's an Arizona State transfer. He's a 6'6" linebacker, showed some promise for the Sun Devils last year. I want to see how he's able to affect the USC defense that some people are going to have some questions going through into this year.
It'll be interesting to see, man. Like, here's the thing. It's like there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent. So, like, obviously you want to see, like, how all these things roll out. But, like, name-wise, personnel, like, for example, Eric Gentry, that's a great one. He was a talented, like, outside linebacker at Arizona State. Body's still coming together. I want to see how that looks. So, at the same time, like, there's a lot of youth there, like, so I'm excited to see Just how that whole room works, how the front seven works. I'm excited to see how rotations work. I'm excited to see what the new age USC looks like. I'm pumped about it.
I hate to say it, but I'm also excited to see how they look. I hate to say it, but I ain't biased or anything. Let's talk about the other side of the trenches, though, the offensive line. Who do you believe to be the best O lineman in the country?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's pretty open this year. I think it's pretty open. But from what I've seen, I think next year, I think Cedric Van Pran can easily be the best offensive lineman in the country. He has the chance to be the best in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I used to watch like Georgia last year, I was like, yo, who was this kid? Like, this is different. Like he's pretty damn good. Like, and it's easy to be like, oh, the best offensive lineman in the country, a tackle. It's a tackle. When I look at all the tackles, like I don't think that that's necessarily true. Now, easily you can go and say, hey, you can pick both the kids off Alabama and say, okay, this is the best offensive lineman in the country. You know, like you want to let someone put on that dominant season first. But obviously, if someone says that the best offensive lineman in the country, you're talking about like a prospectful NFL draft prospect. And like prospect wise, there's just something that like I see with Cedric that I don't see with a lot of other kids. Maybe that just might be a me thing because I really like that interior center guard type of work. But that's who I really like. I mean, you can easily go Paris Johnson's pretty good. You can easily say like if dude is a sleeper, if he puts on just another good body of tape. I really like that kid at Northwestern. Northwestern tackle. Yeah, I think that he has a chance that he can develop into something that can be pretty solid. You know, it's open, man. It's open.
No, it's definitely open. I'm glad that you bring up SVP because, you know, like I think he's an absolute monster too. And we, as much as we talk about Dallas Turner doing like unreal things at his age in the SEC, so at SVP. Like what he started every game for Georgia, he was constantly overshadowed, and it makes sense because of what they were doing on the defensive side of the ball, and that they were able to, you know, win natty. And he was just overshadowed in so many ways. For him to do that in his first season start every game on a national championship winning team, set the table for the run game, be really strong against the pass, and like he was just so good in so many aspects.
Then they asked Cedric to do a lot of shit too. Like, so like I'm seeing him, he's, you know, like he's pulling out keys, the linebackers and shit, like he's drawing the shit up. But you can tell he's pretty well coached, man. Like, and he's still like he has natural like just gifts. Like he understands leverage and like he understands like being able to like reset your feet, get your cleats in the ground.
He has super nimble feet.
Super fucking nimble feet. And that's where I was like, okay, this dude's pretty good.
I hate when people don't want to just give a center their flowers. Like, even though he plays center, he's still one of the best in the country. It's just so evident. He plays that old school brand of football too. He's an absolute mauler, and I can't wait for more people to get acclimated with this game and realize that SVP is one of the best offensive linemen in the country. How about you though, Andrew? Or who you believe to be the best OL?
Well, Trevor said two of the names. I like Paris Johnson at Ohio State. I also like Skoronski at Northwestern. I do want to say I'm glad y'all brought up centers because I do think the best offensive lineman in this, you know, class will end up being a center, whether it's Van Pran, who I'm high on. I also like JMS from Minnesota. There's Patterson from Notre Dame. There's Olu from Michigan. Those are four amazing centers, or five, I can't remember. But I do want to say, if there's another tackle in the Big Ten I want to talk about, if Jalen Duncan from Maryland can improve on a few things, he has some iffy hand placement.
I watched Jalen Duncan. It was tricky for me, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just want to see development.
There.
Yeah, like he has a lot of tackles have this problem. I saw it last year with Penning. Iffy hand placement, and he raises his hips, which makes him a little prone to the bull rush. If he can fix that, he could end up being one of the top tackle prospects in this year's draft. He has a really high ceiling if he can develop that this year.
I definitely agree with you. I know when I wasn't going to rank him in the top 5, like I wasn't going to end up ranking him the 5th best top offensive lineman in the country. I think it's a little ridiculous right now, but he's got that potential, and I think he's really on the cusp of becoming that. If he puts these pieces together like you project, could be real scary, and Maryland would just have another legit NFL draft prospect on their very talented offense. And you know, the last thing I'll ask is, let's just create your ideal defensive line, just 5 guys using current college football players that you want on your D line.
Well, I think I'd have to go right now. Ooh, just to go off the dome, Jalen Carter, Felix, Kobe Wooden. Oh boy, another one, and obviously Will Anderson. Because I think I want to go with like 5. There's at least 5 dudes I really like: Felix, Jalen Carter, Brian Breeze, Kobe Wooden, Felix under DK. I think that was like my ideal 5, and then you got Will Anderson. I think that's a good 5, and the thing is, because you can play them all in multiple spots.
Definitely. What about yours, Andrewster?
I'm gonna agree with Will, Breezy, and Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's a freak. Out of that entire Georgia defensive line last year, I think he has the chance to be the best of that entire group. I'll have Dallas Turner as well on the outside. And then I'm struggling for this 5th because part of me wants to go Miles Murphy. I'm also a fan of Zion Tupuola Fatui for Washington. I think I might go ZTF. I see something there with him.
I know a lot of people have been high on ZTF for a while. Hopefully he could stay healthy. I would love to see what he could do with consistent health throughout the course of his season. I think Miles Murphy is an absolute monster. I can't wait to see what him and Breezy do this season. I mean, it's just like we didn't even really talk about Jalen Carter today, and that just goes to show how great, like how vast this amount of talent in the trenches is in this sport currently.
It's insane. There's a lot.
Definitely is a lot. And you know, we really thank you for talking about the trenches, Trevor. We know that you're a guru when it comes to this stuff, and we appreciate your time.
Man. Thanks for having me, dog. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. If you're still watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Would help us greatly. And make sure to follow Trevor on Twitter, which I'm sure you're already doing, but please make sure to follow him. And for, you know, what all it takes, whether it be about football, music, TV shows, movies, whatever he's talking about, he's probably right about it.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, so we thank you so much, Trevor, and we'll catch y'all on the next video.
All right, man.